the other day, I got a question in my Discord. Somebody said, hey, can you talk about common dating mistakes that you see people make? And I said, well, I can do that. I would be happy to do that because sometimes I feel like it's my job. Like what I'm really here to do is to save you people from yourselves. That's right. I said, you people, you weirdos who listen to weird music. I know who you are. I'm on to you. You might be asking yourself, Finn, what do you know about dating? You're an old married dude. That is true. It is true. But I can tell you, I have made just about every mistake that there is to make, which is the reason why I did not get married until I was, I think, 39, because I am a moron. I am an idiot who has made just about every dumb dating mistake you could possibly make. So what I'm here to do is help you learn from my painful mistakes so you don't have to make them for yourselves, and hopefully it will not take you nearly 40 years to figure this stuff out. So we will do this through the lens of what else? TikTok. Because TikTok, I mean, how do you learn about anything these days other than TikTok, right? So we'll talk about metalhead dating today, and I'll try to pull out some life lessons for you here because we all know the best place to learn life lessons is from TikTok. But before we go any further, this is the part where I ask you to follow me on Twitch. I am streaming twice a week from 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and think of it like hanging out at Denny's after a show. Except you are with a couple hundred of your best friends. Check it out at the link in the description of this video, and I hope to see you there. The first one we have here is POV. You're dating a guitarist. Playing her leg like it's a guitar. This is how you know you're dating a guitarist. He's more interested in touching his guitar than he is in touching a woman. It's a fact. It's a fact. And I'll tell you a funny story about this. Many years ago, I think this was maybe 2016, 2017, I went to dinner with Matt Halpern from Periphery and his future wife. At the time, they had only been dating for a couple months. And we went out to dinner, and I was like, oh, well, how did you guys meet? Or like, she said something that made me realize that she didn't know anything about metal. And I was like, oh, well, how did you meet? It's like, oh, like Tinder or something like that. And I thought he was cute and cool. And then he said that he was in a band. And I was like, oh no, he's in a band. He's probably going to have like groupies all over him. And I started laughing, and Matt kind of like, he's like, ah. I was like, oh, and then you went to a Periphery show and you realized you had nothing to worry about because all the guys at the show were more interested in having sex with a guitar than they were with a woman. And she was like, exactly. And now I'm never worried. So the lesson here is, just don't date guitarists. And more than that, in all seriousness, the real lesson is you can't make your life revolve around your hobbies. You know, it's sad. It's sad when there are people, and it's especially men. I feel like, women probably do it too, but I feel like it's especially like a thing for young men to just really over-index on their hobbies. I did it. You know, when I was in my early 20s, I paid way more attention to like my video game collection than I did my girlfriend at the time. And no wonder she dumped me after several years because she was tired of my shit. She was tired of the fact that I basically, treated her as a second-class citizen compared to like playing guitar and collecting video games and hanging out with my friends and blah, 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 all that other stuff. And so eventually she was like, I'm out of here. Enough of this shit. Bye. And then she got married and had a kid with someone else who seems like a great guy. I'm happy for both of them. But the point is, the lesson here, you don't want to be that guy that ends up forever alone because you paid too much attention to your hobbies instead of your girlfriend or potential future wife. And, for the ladies out there, although who am I kidding? Women don't watch my content. But for the 4 women out there who do watch my content, if you find yourself dating a guy who treats you like this, who seems to be paying more attention to his hobbies, next, kick him to the curb, girl. Kick him to the curb. Next him. That's my advice. People are always wanting someone, but when they get them, they forget to give them attention. That is a great way to put it. Next one we have here. The 5 rules. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 rules for dating a metalhead as a non-metalhead, because we all know that happens so often, right? It's so common that some normie guy ends up dating a metalhead girl, right? Happens all the time, right? Anyway, here are the 5 rules, apparently.
5. Don't make fun of our music. Not because we're going to get offended, but because it's just annoying at this point.
The rule, don't make fun of our music. I already feel like the red flag here is that anybody who's this insecure about, their taste in music, it's kind of a concern, right?
We've heard the jokes a million times. 4. Be prepared to go to a lot of concerts. Bring earplugs. You double as our purse or wallet holder while we go to the pit.
You double as our purse or wallet holder while we go to the pit. I remember back in the 90s, like at hardcore shows, people would always joke about this. They would refer to their girlfriend as their coat rack. So it'd be like, hold my coat while I go mosh.
3. At the shows, you should also be prepared with your camera if at any point you see a star to get lifted above the crowd. We will love you forever if you get a good crowd surfing shot of us. 2. As far as gifts go, we're the easiest people to buy
This is
for.
true. This is true. As far as gifts go, we're the easiest people to buy for. Concert tickets, band merch, vans, or docs will make us happy without fail. This is true because, again, it's kind of a sad fact that when it comes to you people, remember, you people, it's like the only thing, it's such a sad place to be where your whole life revolves around this one thing, right? Like the only thing that these people care about, the only thing you people care about is this sort of one narrow genre of music. And basically the vibe I'm getting here is if you aren't as obsessed about music in exactly the same way as I am, then I can't be with you. And I think that's genuinely kind of sad.
1. You might as well start liking metal or be prepared to lose your...
Right here, you might as well start liking metal or be prepared to lose your mind. So the lesson here to me, anytime someone makes demands or rules about how this relationship is going to be, that's a red flag. A relationship, you don't make 5 rules for dating me. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a weird thing to do. You gotta just, relax. Let people be who they are and take them as they are. And you can't expect them to care about the things you care about. A good relationship has boundaries, not rules. You don't set rules, and you can't force people to like things the same way that you like them. You can't force anyone else to be the person you want them to be. Let's put it that way. You can't force them to follow your rules. This is not a job. You don't get to tell someone what uniform to wear. Okay, next one here. Shooting my shot with a metalhead, part 2.
Damn, you fine as hell. Hey, yo, think I can get you?
His ex, his crush, his bestie, his idol, his room. The kill shot here, his bedroom. Okay, now there's a lot of things to talk about here. Number 1, what is up with young men? And I feel like I'm kind of going hard on young nerdy males here. And that's true, but that's because I was once a young nerdy male. Now I'm just a nerdy male. I'm not young anymore. What is it with young nerdy men and the lack of bed frame? I'll tell you guys a secret. I guess it can't really be a secret if I'm saying it to, thousands of people on YouTube, but I did not have a bed frame until I was 30 or 31. From the time that I was in high school, I moved out when I was 17 actually, and I did not have a bed frame until I was 31. How sad is that? Imagine being a grown woman and going over to some dude's house. He's 29 years old and he doesn't have a fucking bed frame. I still don't have a bed frame, but I have an SG. This is what I'm talking about. These guys, they've got a $3,000 guitar rig, a huge pristine collection of vinyl and video games, but they don't have a fucking bed frame. This is the male brain. Just the priorities are just where are they? What is wrong with young men? Why are our brains so broken? Why? Why? What is wrong with them? Why does it matter? Because you need to have a goddamn bed frame. That's why. If you're over the age of like 20, you need to have a goddamn bed frame, and you shouldn't have unframed shit on your walls. You don't put a fucking System of a Down poster up on your wall with a thumbtack. Women like bed frames. That's why. Exactly. I didn't even have a box frame for years, let alone a bed frame, because women like bed frames, because women want you to be a fucking adult. That's why. No fucking decent grown woman wants to be with a goddamn child. A fucking adult baby teenager. That's why. Because women want you to have a fucking bed frame. So get a fucking bed frame. You schmuck. Jesus. Yeah. Just, you got to get your shit together. So if you're that guy, go buy a bed frame right now. Drop what you're doing. Go buy a bed frame. If you got to put it on a credit card, do it. And ladies, if you go over to a guy's house and he's over the age of 20 and he doesn't have a bed frame, next. That's the lesson here. Here's a good one. One of my favorites from my man, Morbid Tales, aka Valentine Carrillo. Here's what it's really like. So, there's all these girls that say, that they want to go on a date with the quote unquote metalhead boy with long hair. But are you sure that's what you want? Are you sure? Are you sure that that's what you want? Because this is what it's really like to go on a date with that metalhead boy with long hair. Here's what you're in for.
What? No, I wasn't listening to whatever you were saying. In fact, whatever you were saying right here is completely irrelevant to me and what I do. Wait a minute. Are you wearing a Slipknot shirt?
Are you wearing a Slipknot shirt?
You know Slipknot is for posers, right? Let me just say, you look completely awful here tonight. Oh, is that a Metallica jacket right there? Why don't you name me 3 Metallica songs in 90 seconds? Go. And while you're at it, name me 5 thrash bands that are not part of the big 4. Wait, you mean to tell me you like nu metal, deathcore, and metalcore? So you are a poser. Waiter, I need my check, because I'm out of here.
Give me my check, waiter. I think the lesson here, number one, he is hilarious. I love him. He is one of the best creators on TikTok. I absolutely love this man. Number one, shout out to Valentine Carrillo. Number two, I think it's very easy to construct an idealized image in your head about what this person is going to be like that may not match reality. Especially on the internet now, we live in this age of parasocial relationships where you're like, oh, I want a girl that's like this and this and this, who looks like this and has these tattoos and listens to this music. It's very easy to construct this image in your head of the person that you think you want to be with based on really superficial things like their interests and the way they look and stuff like that. And forget about the things that actually matter, which is is this person actually a decent human, or are they a fucking asshole? Is this person good for you? The fact that someone has a look that you like, or maybe shares some of the same interests as you, that's not important. There's millions of people out there that listen to the same music as I do. That doesn't mean I want to be friends with them, much less date them. I don't even know why people want someone who has the exact same interests as you. I want them to be their own person. I think it's bizarre. Basically, it's these people want to fuck themselves. A lot of men are like this. You want a woman that is the exact mirror image of you. She dresses the same as you. She likes the same music as you. It's weird. You just want to date the female version of yourself. It's very immature. Very, very immature. So that's number one. And number two is, I think a lot of people close themselves off to potential romantic relationships or friendships or jobs, or just close themselves off to a lot of things in life because they have this mental model constructed of, if somebody doesn't fit this exact image that I've constructed in my head, then I can't date them, I can't be friends with them, and I don't want to work with them. You know what I mean? It's this very rigid thinking. And so in reality, I've had a lot of these situations where I thought that I wanted to date some girl like this, and then I did. For example, I used to think that these like cokehead indie like hipster party girls were like really hot. And then I dated a bunch of them and it was fucking absolute misery. They were horrible. They were awful, broken people. And I hated being around them. And it was a terrible, awful experience that like put years on my soul. And like 15 years later, I still shudder about how awful those relationships were because I had sort of convinced myself that this is what I wanted. But oftentimes what you think you want is not actually what you really want. You know, so that's the lesson here. You got to relax a little bit and understand that life may take you in unexpected directions. And, you got to be open to that. You can't be so rigid and to think that I only want this, because in reality, as this poor girl who eventually went on a date with the metalhead boy with long hair found out the hard way, actually, maybe it might not be as good as what you thought. This is why people get let down a lot, because they constructed an image and was let down instead of accepting the situation as it is. Exactly. Life is going to take you in unexpected directions, and you just kind of got to be open to that. Next one. Okay, this is kind of a funny Freudian slip, Freudian typo. Everyone want to date a mental head until blank. I thought it was kind of funny that they said mental head instead of metalhead, a little bit too orders or something. This is like legitimately terrifying and disgusting. There's like bugs in here. You know what I mean? This is beyond just like messy. This is filthy. Depressed people. Yeah, that's probably true. The neckbeard nest. So my thoughts on this. Again, people, clean your room. Absolutely disgusting. God bless this girl for being so much of a sweetheart that she's willing to tolerate this, but she shouldn't be. If someone's room is this bad, you got to get out of there. This is a bridge too far. Number two, the one exception to this, people, one exception. You might think that I'm rigid and uptight. Not true. In general, I think if someone is this messy, it's better off if you just next them. But the one exception to this rule is the girls who wear Cookie Monster pajamas and drive an Oldsmobile Alero with a passenger seat full of McDonald's trash. That's the one exception to that, because, those girls, a lot of fun. But, just give yourself a week of fun. That's all. The kind of gal that'll shit behind a discount drug mart. That's right. Just let yourself have fun with it for a week. That's all I'm saying. If you see the girl listening to Hollywood Undead in her Scion TC with the McDonald's trash in the passenger seat, just know you're going to be in for a week of fun. And then you're going to be in for probably a month or two of pain afterwards. But it's going to be worth it. That's my advice. It's going to be worth it. Next one. POV on a date and trying to make her think I'm normal. Flipping through the radio stations or the skipping tracks. All your favorite emo songs. A wise move. So the lesson here to me. No. First mistake, pretending to be something you're not. No. No, people. No. This man has the right idea. Shame is healthy. Exactly. Listen, people will tell you, just be yourself, let it all hang out, and if they can't handle it, it's their problem. No, you don't need to let your freak flag fly on the first date. Just hold it in a little bit. You don't want to lie to anybody. You don't want to deceive anyone about who you are or anything like that, but you don't have to let it all hang out on the first date. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's best to kind of hide your weirdness a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, don't show her your rocks below the water. That's a good way to put it. You don't want a JPEG and Danny Brown a date. No, you don't want to do that. Ease into it. If you're weird, you're weird. Nothing you can do about that. But sometimes it's best to kind of hide that. I mean, I've told this story before, but I'm going to say it again. This was 30 years ago, people. Almost 30 years ago. And I am still cringing at this, okay? This is how scarred I was by my behavior. Many years ago, when I was hanging out with the two cute skater girls, they were listening to NoFX or something like that, and I was like, this shit sucks. This band's way better. And I made them listen to Discordance Axis, this awful grindcore band from the 90s. And they were like, this is terrible. You listen to this? And if I had any hope of ever touching either of their boobies. The moment that I forced my terrible music on them, any of those dreams of touching their boobies went poof, just evaporated in a puff of smoke as soon as I pressed play on that Discordance Axis tape. So the point here, you know, is I think it's a good idea on the first date to try to make her think you're normal. You know, don't gaslight anyone, don't lie or anything like that, but put your best foot forward, and your best foot is not your weird foot. That's all. You don't need to go out of your way to like broadcast how much of a weirdo you are. You know what I mean? Just ease into it. They can find out that you listen to Infant Annihilator on the third date. Or never. They don't ever have to know. If it's really important to you that they find out about listening to Infant Annihilator, it can wait. It can wait. That's all I'm saying. They can find out when you're married. When you've locked them in. Like, ha, 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 ha. I tricked you into marrying me. Now you should know I'm a metalhead. Next one we have, kind of along the same lines. Date a metalhead, they said. And this is Anna Montana. Look at her with her metalhead boyfriend. She looks like a sweet girl taking a picture together at this local show. She looks like she really loves him. Really happy to be with him. But I feel like there's a nasty surprise coming. What could it be? Oh, here it comes. Her boyfriend is that guy up front moshing all by himself at the local show. There's 8 people in the crowd, and he's the one right up there going for it, showing everybody he's their number one fan. He is my twin. It's true. That's right. Even the guy in the ESP hoodie doesn't want any. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes it's best to just dial it back a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Just dial it back a little bit. God bless her. Us men are so lucky that women are such tolerant, forgiving creatures that they'll look past this cringe. This guy just dialed up the cringe to fucking 11, and his girlfriend loves him anyway. God bless her. God bless her. But you know, you may not be so lucky. The girl of your dreams may not be able to overlook your cringe. And even if she is, just, do you really want to be that guy? That's all I'm saying. Just, how about this? Instead of going up front and moshing in front of the other 6 people at the show, why don't you just, mosh in your head? How about that? You don't have to be that guy. You can just like dial it back a little bit. That's my advice. Dial it back a little bit. Here's the real lesson. When you are out with your girlfriend or wife, or really any girl, whatever, you should always be asking yourself, is the thing that I am about to do going to make her have a better night or not? That's what you want to ask yourself. Just the problem with men is we don't think. Our brain says, I want to do this, and then you just do it. But what you need to do is insert a step in between your brain and thinking or doing something stupid to ask yourself, to pause for a minute, is this going to make her enjoy the night more or less? You go, hey, I really want to go mosh in front of the other 8 people here to show this local band that I'm their number one fan. Okay, I understand you want to do that, but ask yourself, is that going to make Anna enjoy the night more or less? I would say less. She would probably rather that you hung out with her, having a drink and chatting with her. That's what I think. Wait till she sees how I crowd kill. She'll demand my seed afterwards. Oh, I have a good story about this. I went to go see Hollywood Undead in like 2008, and I was moshing a whole bunch. I was like just sweaty as shit because it was like the summer in Cincinnati. I was trying to talk to some girl afterwards. I was like 29. I was like dripping in sweat because it was so hot there. I could just see her looking at me like, go away, do not talk to me. I don't know what's wrong with you, but I don't want anything to do with you. This is gross. Please leave. And I realized, oh, it's 29 is way too old for it. I told you I was a fucking idiot. You thought I was lying? No. No. My spirit just died inside, like halfway through like my second sentence to her. I could just see like, oh, I've made a terrible mistake. I've made a terrible mistake. I just embodied cringe. I should probably just put my tail between my legs and leave now. Don't be that guy. That's my point. Just dial it back. Just, abort. Just ask yourself, this thing I'm about to do, is this going to scare the hoes? If it is, don't do it. That's my advice. Don't scare the hoes. Okay, when you're the first metalhead that she's dated, you think, well, this guy doesn't look like a metalhead. She looks pretty normal. She probably has no idea what she's getting into. Let's see what happens when it's the first time you go on a date with a metalhead. Let's see. He's moshing, listening to Motionless in White. Well, here's the real lesson, people. The only time it's okay to date someone who's a metalhead is if he looks like this and he thinks that Motionless in White is metal. Then it's okay because he's not a real metalhead. This is like dating a girl who listens to alternative music, but what she really means is she listens to Fall Out Boy, but she only knows the singles and she has like a Roxy hoodie. That's like her idea of being alternative. That's okay. She's just a normie with like slight alternative tendencies. Metalhead light, exactly. So if the guy looks like this, if he looks like the assistant manager of PacSun and his idea of metalhead means that he listens to Motionless in White, all right. Okay, I'll accept that. But this is the maximum amount of metal that you are allowed to be. That's what it is. Fellas, you can be no more metal than this. And ladies, I would advise against dating any man who is more metal than this. So this is the acceptable level of metal to date. That's my advice here. I hope I helped someone. I healed and I helped my people today. Listen, if I save just one young man from going down the path of metal, and if I save just one young woman from the pain that comes from dating a metalhead, I've done my job. And more importantly, if I save anybody from being as fucking cringe as I was well into my early 30s. I was horrifyingly cringe well into my early 30s, people. And trust me, it's painful to think back to that, to think over those, good solid 20 years of cringe on my part. It hurts. It hurts my soul to think about the way that I acted when I was like 29. It hurts my soul. So people, learn from my painful mistakes so you can avoid making the same ones. Trust me, I'm trying to help. That's all. I don't consider myself a hero. I'm just a guy trying to do his job. There it is. My dating advice, courtesy of Metalhead Dating on TikTok. There it is.